Have an incredibly distinguished program this morning, so we want to get started so we can keep on time for the rest of the day. If we can all start to take our seats, we want to make sure we have enough time to hear from all of our distinguished guests. My name is Jamu Green, and I'm a contributor with Fox News Channel. I am so honored to be here this morning, to get to share in this wonderful conference with so many honored and distinguished visitors. And I know y'all are getting to know each other, have been over the last couple of days, and know that there are 7 countries represented in addition to the United States. What an incredible, incredible gathering. And as we focus on energy and trade, I think what is most important is that this is about the future of friendship and prosperity. And as I said, we have just an incredible list of distinguished speakers, all of which are engaged in the legislation and running of our country, but have come to be here with you today. I would even say that the lineup that Dr. Taban has put together, you might even have a future president in your midst coming to speak to you. And it's because of the importance of this friendship, the importance of this community, and all of the high-profile folks we have here today. So thanks for being here. Why don't we start off by just giving yourselves a round of applause to make sure everyone is paying attention as we welcome our fearless leader. Good morning. You know him, you love him. He has brought together this incredible gathering. Please welcome Dr. Farooq Taban.
My name is Farooq Taban. I'm the president of Turkic American Alliance. So we are delighted to have each one of you in this the beautiful the morning in state's capital. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2013 Turkic American Convention. We have a sensational program this year entailing dignitaries and specialists from all over the world to discuss pertinent issues involving energy, trade, and development. That's our theme for today. Representatives from Turkey, Azerbaijan, and the Central Asia republics will interact with members and counterparts from the United States, giving everyone a unique opportunity. I'd like to acknowledge those who are here this morning one by one, because you guys are so special for us to be part of this great gathering. So I'd like to start from our guest, Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Central Asia first. And from Turkey, we have Deputy Chairman of AK Party, Ekrem Erdem, here with us. And Deputy Chairman of CHP, Gökhan Günaydın, with us. And Deputy Chairman of CHP Republican Party, Bülent Tezcan, with us. And Member of Parliaments, Ahmet Berat Çonkar, Ali Demirçalı, Belma Satır, Derya Bakbak, Engin Özkoç, Faik Tünay, Hüseyin Tanrıverdi, İlhan İşbilen, Mehmet Ali Susam, Nurettin Nebati, Osman Çakır, and we have the board member of AK Party, Sema Ramazanoğlu, with us also here. And from Azerbaijan, we have Asım Mollazadeh with us. And from Kyrgyzstan, we have Chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee, Kanibek Imanaliyev with us. Thank you. And from Azerbaijan, again, Samet Seyidov with us. And from Azerbaijan, Sevinç Fateliyeva with us here. And we have the governor of Trabzon, Recep Kızılcık, and couple mayors. We have Mayor of Antalya, Mustafa Akaydın with us, and Mayor of Istanbul, Kadir Topbaş. And we have Ambassador of Turkey, Mr. Namık Tan with us. And we have from the U.S. House of Representatives, we have Mark Meadows with us from North Carolina. Kemal Bey, here. We have two senators from U.S. Senate, Senator Joe Donnelly with us from Indiana, and Senator Joseph I. Mark Pryor here. And we have also Kyrgyzstan Ambassador Muhtar Jumaliyev with us here. We have Congressman Paul Tonko. Thank you. Söyledim ben. İsmini söyledim. And the Ambassador of Kazakhstan. Ambassador, thank you, Ambassador. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, here, okay. We have Congresswoman from Florida, Ilana Rose-Lehtinen. Thank you. All right, so I think we covered pretty much everyone here. So may I continue? For those who are new to the convention, our host, Turkic American Alliance, is the largest national Turkic organization in U.S., representing 6 regional federations and over 200 community associations, including cultural centers, business associations, and educational institutions. I just want to highlight our successful programs, just name a few. Our excursions to Turkey and Turkey countries have guided over 4,000 VIPs in the course of last 8 years. And our state dinners have hosted in 45 state capitals, over 50 states in the last 3 years. And our Sister City program has built relations with 20 cities or states in the US. And finally, our largest ever in the world Turkish festival organized in Los Angeles called Anatolia Culture and Food Festival. Our Turkic American Convention is the largest annual gathering that focuses on strengthening the political, social, and economic ties between the Turkic countries and the United States. We convene annually to strengthen these partnerships and increase economic cooperation for new initiatives. With the assistance of Rethink Institute, we are able to host an open forum between distinguished leaders and experts to unravel pertinent issues that impact our economic growth and international relations. As Turkic American Alliance, we are proud to bring these brilliant minds to help us understand and navigate through the new challenges we face and see the opportunities they bring. Since our Countries, including US, have vast resources of energy. We hope that the convention will unfold various policies between nations and further discuss new developments in energy. In addition, with recent trade policies changing economic opportunities at the fingertips of these developing nations. Above all, economic cooperation is at the heart of our continuing partnerships. Economic growth in this global economic downturn can give us clues on how to turn economic hardship into opportunities. We are excited to hear the outcome of each panel, and we hope you have an enjoyable experience. In advance, thank you to our 2013 convention sponsors, Halk Bank and Ziraat Bank. Our convention couldn't be successful without their support and time. Please give them an applause, the Halk Bank and the Ziraat Bank. On behalf of the Turkic American community, I thank all the distinguished panelists, moderators, speakers, and the guests who have come from near and far. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tavan, for putting together the largest gathering of its kind. Give yourselves another round of applause. And let's welcome to the stage the senior U.S. Senator from the great state of Arkansas, Mark Pryor.
Thank you all. It is a great honor for me to be here. Y'all please go ahead and eat. Don't stop on my count. As we say in Arkansas, as your attorney, I advise you to eat, okay? So y'all go ahead and eat. Let me say it's a great honor for me to be here. I've always had this friendship with Turkey and that region for a very personal reason. One of my best friends in high school was from Turkey, and after he graduated in college here in the U.S., he went back to Turkey, went back to Istanbul, and some of y'all may know his name. His name is Kemal Köprülü, and I think he's been active in some political causes over there over the years. But anyway, I don't know a whole lot about what he's been doing, but I want to say his mother maybe was a correspondent for the Turkish newspaper here in D.C., and that's why they lived in Washington. But nonetheless, because of my friendship with Kemal over the years, I hadn't seen him in about 4 or 5 years, but I've always had this interest and this kind of affection for Turkey in that region. It's a very important trading partner with the U.S., and I look forward to hearing from you all and know how we can help and continue to stay connected. And it's really in our mutual interest to build those economic ties, and some of those revolve around energy, some security, and all kinds of other things. But to continue that trade and that commerce, I think it's very, very important. And let me tell you one last story before I sit down and listen to the other speakers. Because I'm from Arkansas, and a senator, I get a chance to meet with a lot of dignitaries like yourself and very successful people, often political leaders from other countries, and really successful people from all over the world, and it's great. And invariably, when I meet with folks from overseas and they know I'm from Arkansas, a lot of times they'll get this little twinkle in their eye because they think that Bill Clinton is from Arkansas, therefore Bill Clinton. So I oftentimes think that they'll mention Clinton, and sometimes they do, but more often than not, what they talk about is they say, I'm a Fulbright scholar. And Senator Fulbright was from Arkansas, and so, his mission in life was to build relations around the world and to do that soft diplomacy. And some of you all may be Fulbright scholars, and we're certainly proud of you all for doing that. And I'm just proud to be here this morning. I just want to say thank you for having me. I look forward to learning more about what you got going on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. And joining us next is someone who I hold dear to my heart since traveling to Istanbul a few years ago, and I'm just remembering all of the beautiful, beautiful tulips and the incredible time I had there. Please welcome Dr. Kadir Topbaş, the mayor of Istanbul, Turkey.
Saygıdeğer hanımefendiler, beyefendiler, siyasi partilerimizin değerli genel başkan yardımcıları, senatörler, milletvekilleri, çok üst düzeyde katılım sağlamış olan değerli katılımcılar, büyükelçiler, hepinizle birlikte Washington'da bu sabah kahvaltısında birlikte olmaktan duyduğum memnuniyeti özellikle ifade etmek istiyor. Hepinize iyi günler diliyorum.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, all dignitaries, His Excellencies, the ambassadors, I'm glad to be joining you here today on this breakfast.
Ve özellikle Türk-Amerikan Dernekleri Federasyonu'nun 2013 konferansı biliyorum ki geçmişte olduğu gibi geleceğe de çok daha farklı yansımalarla devam edecektir.
I'm sure that the 2013 Turkic-American Convention will have very fruitful reflections on the future.
Ben buradan kilometrelerce, binlerce kilometre uzaktaki bir kent olan 14 milyonluk Türkiye'nin lokomotif kenti ama dünyanın da çok önemli kentlerinden birisi 17. büyük kent olan İstanbul'dan selamlarla geldim.
I'm coming from miles away and I'm bringing my greetings from the 17th largest city in the world and the locomotive of Turkey, Istanbul.
Amerika ile Türkiye stratejik ortaktır ve bu dostluk ilişkileri giderek daha da gelişmektedir ve bundan ciddi anlamda memnuniyet duyduğumuzu burada ifade etmek istiyorum.
Let me first of all state that I'm so happy to have Turkey and America as strategic partners, and I know that this relationship will continue as successful as it has been in the past.
Filozof Celaleddin Rumi'nin güzel bir sözü vardır Mevlana'nın. Aynı dili konuşanlar değil, aynı duyguyu paylaşanlar anlaşır diyor. İşbirliğimiz ve ortaklığımız esasında ortak duygular etrafında toplanmakta.
I'd like to quote the Turkish philosopher Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi. He says, "It's not those who speak the same language, but those who share the same feelings that can actually communicate. And we share the same feelings on the basis of our cooperation."
Bu dönemde hep beraberce şahitlik ettiğimiz dünyamızda ciddi bir değişim ve dönüşüm yaşanmakta.
We're all witnessing a major change and transformation in today's world.
Dünya küçülen bir köy haline gelen bir yaşam alanına dönüştü.
The world is becoming smaller. It's becoming a globalized village.
Ve böyle bir dünyada tüm insanların kaderleri birbirine bağlı hale geldi.
And in such a world, we're all codependent in our destinies.
Dünyanın herhangi bir coğrafyasındaki bir problem, bir yanlışlık tüm dünya insanlığını anında etkileyebiliyor.
Any problem in any part of the world will surely have its impact on the rest of the world.
Bunun için daha adil ve daha müreffeh bir dünyayı oluşturmak sorumluluğunu her birimiz taşımaktayız.
And that is why we all bear the responsibility to contribute to the creation of a more prosperous world.
Bir gerçekle de karşı karşıyayız ki o da dünyamızda geçmiş asırlarda olduğu gibi küresel ve bölgesel güç dengeleri yeniden şekillenmekte.
Another truth we're facing is that the regional balances of power are now shifting.
Böyle bir süreci iyi takip edebilenler, okuyabilenler, onunla ilgili çalışmaları yürütebilenler, partilerini iyi seçebilenler geleceğe çok daha farklı yürüyebilmekteler.
It is only those who are able to read this process and choose their partners correctly that will be having a particular success in the future.
İstanbul Belediye Başkanı olarak ayrıca Türkiye Belediyeler Birlik Başkanıyım ve dünyanın %60'ını yönetenlerin üye olduğu UCLG'nin Üniversiteler Local Government'ın Dünya Teşkilat Başkanlığı'nı yürütmekteyim.
I'm not only the mayor of Istanbul, but the president of the Turkish Union of Municipalities, and also the president of the United Cities and Local Governments, a world organization of local governments that govern 4 billion people around the world.
Ayrıca Sayın Ban Ki-moon'un dünyanın değişik yerlerinden 2015 sonrası yapılanmayla ilgili davet ettiği üst düzey 26 panelistten birisi olarak 2015 sonrası kentlerle ilgili bir çalışma içerisinde bulunmaktayız.
I also enjoy the honor of being appointed among the other 26 members by the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to work on the post-2015 development agenda.
Bunu şunun için söylüyorum. Dünyada gerçekten geleceği düşünenlerde ciddi bir endişe taşımaktalar.
The reason why I'm expressing all these is that people who think about the future of the world are carrying some major concerns.
Ve Birleşmiş Milletler'in ortaya koyduğu milenyum hedeflerine, 1000 yıllık kalkınma hedeflerine ancak yerel yönetimlerle erişmenin mümkün olabileceği gündeme gelmekte.
And it is coming up on the agenda. That is only through the work, the cooperation with local governments that we can actually achieve the Millennium Development Goals.
Yani yerel yönetimlerin ciddi anlamda bir çözüm ortağı olarak aktif rol almaları gerekmektedir.
So the local governments indeed need to be solution partners and have an active role.
Hepimizin yaşadığımız ve geçmiş tarihi bildiğimiz gibi insanoğlu yeryüzünde var olduğu günden bugüne kadar birçok yerleşim ve yönetişim evrelerinden geçerek bugünlere ulaştı.
As we all know, the humankind has gone through different processes of governments and governance throughout history.
Günümüzde ileri demokrasilerden bahsediyor. Her insanın hakkının kendisine iade edilmesi ve yaşam hakkı başta olmak üzere değerlerine sahip çıkılması gerektiği ön planda.
Today we're talking about advanced democracy where we have to protect the fundamental rights of people.
Bu bağlamda yerelleşebilenler, halka yakın yerel birliklerle birlikte hareket edebilenler ve sivil toplum örgütleri, birçok kurum ve kuruluşlar, hatta üniversitelerle birlikte paralel çalışabilenler başarıya ulaşabiliyor.
And in that perspective, it is only those who are able to cooperate with local governments as well as NGOs and universities that are going to be successful.
Türkiye'de Sayın Başbakanımızın hükümeti döneminde ağırlıklı olmak üzere geçmişten gelen yerel yönetimler üzerinde reform nitelikli bazı yasal düzenlemeler yapıldı.
We have put in effect serious laws with regards to transforming the local governance in Turkey, especially under the term of our Prime Minister.
Türkiye'de bundan biz yerel yöneticiler olarak edindiğimiz bilgi ve becerileri ve deneyimlerimizi yine meslektaşlarımızla, mevkidaşlarımızla dünyanın değişik yerlerdeki yöneticilerle paylaşmaktayız.
And as the local governors of Turkey, we're endeavoring to share all our knowledge and experience with local governors all around the world.
Çünkü bilgi insanın ortak değeridir.
Because knowledge is a common asset of the humankind.
Bunu paylaşmak, bunu bölüşmek, bunu yönetmek dönemimizin en önde gelen etkin yönetim anlayışıdır.
And it is our primary governmental responsibility to share and advance that knowledge.
Biraz önce sizlere bahsettiğim gibi bütün insanların, şehirlerin, ülkelerin kaderlerin birbirine bağlı olduğu bu dünyada bilgi ve deneyim paylaşımının mutlaka yapılması ve kaçınılmaz olduğunu ifade etmek istiyorum.
So the sharing of that knowledge and experience is indispensable in such a world where our destinies are codependent, as I've already mentioned.
Dünyada global köy hale gelen bu gezegenimizde bir başka gerçekle de karşı karşıyayız.
And we face another truth in this globalized village.
Doğal kaynaklar hızla tükenmekte. Nüfus 7 milyarları aştı ve gelecekte kentlerde yaşayan nüfusun %70'lere erişeceği konuşulmakta.
Natural resources are running low. The population is going over 7 billion, and it is being said that more than 70% of the population, world population, will be living in urban areas in the future.
Yoksul çevreleriyle üst düzey yerinde olan insanların arasındaki makas giderek açılmakta.
And the gap between the rich and poor is skyrocketing.
Geleceğin dünyasının ciddi anlamda kaygı verici olduğunu burada ifade etmek istiyorum.
So it is indeed a concerned future.
2010 yılında Meksiko City'de şu anda üstlenmiş olduğum Dünya Başkanlığı Kongresi'nin arkasından yapılan bir panelde 2030 yılının şehirleri tartışılıyor idi.
I'd like to mention that when I was elected as the president of UCLG in Mexico City in 2010, I attended a panel to discuss the cities of 2030.
Meksiko City Belediye Başkanı, Paris Belediye Başkanı, Madrid Belediye Başkanı ve ben ve başka katılımcıların olduğu bu panelde 2030'da nasıl bir şehirlerle karşılaşacağız, nasıl bir şehirler olacak denmekteydi.
we were discussing what the cities of 2030 would look like, along with myself, and there was the mayor of Madrid and Mexico City.
Tabii ilk bakışta kentlerin gelişmeleri sebebiyle teknolojik gelişmeleri sağlamış çevreci, akıllı şehirler ilk planda öne çıkmakta.
They were all talking about smart, greener cities.
Ben o konuşmamda bir ezber bozmak istedim. Bir farklı noktaya insanları odaklamaya çalıştım.
But I said, I want to say something else. I want to draw your attention to another point.
Eğer bu yoksulluk makası açılırsa ve giderek insanlar daha fazla yoksullaşırsa ve Afrika'da sağlıklı suya erişemediği için çocukların 0-5 yaşındaki ölümleri %55'lerde devam ederse gelecek kaygı verici diye ifade etti.
I said, if that gap between rich and poor grows further, if people get even further poorer, and if the 55% of mortality rate in the African children between 0 to 5 years old due to the lack of access to sandable water, the main problem will be security.
Afrika'da gittiğiniz büyük kentlerde, Johannesburg gibi kentlerde dahi size gündüz arka sokaklar, arka caddeler, gece ana caddelerde dahi dolaşmanızın tehlikeli olduğu söylendiği bir dönemde yaşadığımızı söyledim.
I said, even when you go to major African cities like Johannesburg, you're still being warned not to go to the back alleys or the main streets at night.
Eğer böyle devam ederse problemler giderek artacak.
And if it goes on like this, we will have even more problems.
Ve bilim kurgu filmlerinde olduğu gibi insanlar kaçak göçmenler olarak şehirlere gelip kanallarda yaşayarak gasplar oluşturacak. Yani 2030 yılının şehirleri güven problemi yaşayan şehirler haline gelecektir ifadesini bulundu.
And then the cities of 2030 will be exactly like sci-fi movies where illegal immigrants will be living underground. So the main problem will be insecurity.
Yani bir gerçek var. Gelecek adına kaygı duyan herkes, bütün yönetimler, sivil toplum örgütleri ve tüm bireylerin gelecek adına birlikte hareket etmek zorunda olduğumuzu ifade etmek istiyorum.
So the truth stands that any concerned government or individual will have to cooperate.
Barış içinde yaşayan, daha adil, daha müreffeh ve demokratik bir dünyayı oluşturma imkanımız var esasında.
They will have to cooperate in order to create a more just and fair world.
Ve inanıyorum ki bu toplantılar, bu bir araya gelişler bizleri bu noktada daha da aktif hale getirecektir.
And I believe conventions like this will enable us.
Evet. Evet, ben teşekkür ediyorum. Cumhuriyet Halk Partisi milletvekillerimizden değerli bir dostumuz. Bu arada bizim konuşmalarımızı daha rahat dinleyebilmek istediğini ifade ettiler. Ben bu nezaketlerinden dolayı kendilerine teşekkür ediyorum.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just received a warning. There was just too much noise in the hall that a distinguished parliamentarian of CHP party cannot hear the speeches. So I would like to invite you to silence, and I would like to thank him for his courtesy.
Tabii ki Hazreti Mevlana'nın dediği gibi bizler gelecek kuşakların geleceğini hazırlıyoruz. Bir önceki nesil bir sonraki neslin geleceğini hazırlar diyor.
It says the philosopher Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi once said, "It is the past generation that prepares the future for the next generation."
Ve bu bağlamda büyük sorumluluk taşıdığımızı ifade etmek istiyorum.
And in that context, we bear a major responsibility.
Dünyanın hangi noktasında olursak olalım, gezegeni birlikte kullanmaktayız.
We have to use this planet together, no matter where we are in the
Bu
world.
bakıma herkesin mutlu olması, doğal kaynakların hakça paylaşımı ve eşit bir dağılımı sağlamak sorumluluğunu taşıdığımızı ifade etmek istiyorum.
So we bear the responsibility to create a just allocation of natural resources in everything that we have.
Ben bu tip toplantılarda şöyle baktığımda şunu hissediyorum ve burada bunu açıkça söylemek istiyorum.
What I feel something in such conventions, let me just state that briefly.
30, 40, 50 yıl sonra burada hiçbirimiz olmayacağız. Başkaları oturacak.
In 4 or 5 decades, there will be we will be no more. There will be people, younger people sitting here.
O zamanki dünya nasıl olacak merak ediyorum.
And I wonder what the then world will look like.
Bugün biz bunu nasıl şekillendirirsek gelecek öyle olacaktır.
It will look like exactly how we shape it today.
Bizler bilhassa burada bulunan özellikle genel başkan yardımcıları, siyasi partilerin, parlamenterler, senatörler, valiler, büyükelçiler ve STK temsilcileri, idareciler, herkes kanaat önderleri olarak aktif rol alabilen insanlar, insanların beklentilerine cevap verebilecek konumda olan kişiler.
All the dignitaries that have gathered here today, all the distinguished people, they are opinion leaders that can actually make decisions.
Ve dünyayı birlikte şekillendirmek zorundayız.
And we have to shape that world together.
Ben burada bir yerel yönetici olarak İstanbul'da neler yaptığımızı anlatmak istemiyorum.
I won't go ahead and talk even further, talking about mentioning the projects that we undertake
Bizi
in Istanbul as a
ilgilendiren
local governor.
bütün dünyanın geleceği diyorum. Hepinize afiyet olsun diyor. Saygılarımı arz ediyorum.
Our common concern is the future of the world. I would like to thank you for your patience and please enjoy your breakfast.
Our next incredible speaker is from the great state of Indiana, Senator Joe Donnelly.
Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to the United States and to also tell you that the Turkic American community here has been kind enough in my home state of Indiana. They have started a number of schools there, and they have put in these schools some of the children who have the most challenges economically, and these are science, technology, engineering, and mathematics schools, and these children in their first graduating year that is going to be going to college, 100% of the children are going to be able to go to college. And I want to thank the Turkic American community for that opportunity. Our friendship, our relationship, as the mayor was saying, the world continues to get smaller and our friendship continues to grow. So we are really honored by your presence here. We want to work together on energy, on trade, on strengthening the relationships between our countries. So to all of you, we welcome you here to the United States. We welcome you to have a wonderful time while you are here. And please know, you have many, many friends from one end of this country to the other. God bless all of you. Thank you very much.
Just one quick program note. We have a change to the breakfast. Assistant Secretary Robert Blake will be joining us in the luncheon for a keynote speech. I am so honored to introduce my senator from the incredibly great state of New York, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so pleased to join you again today, and it's great to see old friends like Furkan Kozar, the president of the Council of Turkic American Associations. Your leadership and friendship and dedication has made an enormous difference in New York, and I'm so grateful for what you do with my office and for our state. I also want to thank Farouk Taban, the president of the Turkic American Alliance, for your leadership as well. Now, as many of you know, New York is the home to many Turkish Americans, a thriving Turkish American community that's an integral part of our economy and our cultural fabric that makes our state so unique. I had the honor of visiting Istanbul just 2 short years ago. It was a beautiful city, rich in history and culture, and amazingly situated at the convergence of 2 continents. It deepened my appreciation of the enduring partnership between the United States and Turkey that is growing stronger every single day. I expect to go back to Turkey next month. I hope I get to see a few of you there. I've asked for a meeting with the Prime Minister and other officials, and I hope we can continue our long dialogue about our relationship. And as change has spread across the Middle East, Turkey is playing a growing role in the region and in support of America's most vital national security interests. Together, we are ready to welcome freedom and liberty to those around the world who are demanding it today. And together, we are ready to halt hostility and abuse in its tracks, especially when it comes to the nuclear ambitions of Iran. I know our tactics on these issues sometimes differ, but our goal remains exactly the same. I believe that the leaders in Turkey, just as the leaders of the United States, want nothing less than to keep nuclear weapons out of the hands of Iran. So as we work together to keep Iran from obtaining hard currency and precious metals, we hope to reach that end. And we partner in Missile Defense Shield on Turkey's territory, which we operate and which supports NATO's defenses in this volatile part of the world. As a member of the Armed Services Committee, I understand the importance of these assets and this partnership to the safety of not just our allies, but all the American people. We are bound by a common belief that all in this world deserve basic freedom and liberty. That's why hundreds of thousands of Syrians have found refuge in Turkey, providing support and space for Syrian opposition groups to meet and organize and stand up to the egregious human rights abuses. The Turkish government knows that the longer President Assad stays in power and oppresses the Syrian people, the more likely it is that Syria descends further into chaos and threatens its neighbors. At this time of the democratic awakening in the Middle East, Turkish democracy is a shining example of the strength that can be achieved through freedom and democracy, the same vision America was born from, and the reason why President Obama made Turkey his first foreign trip to a Muslim nation as president. I also want to focus on the U.S.-Turkish economic ties. My home state of New York has one of the most vital trading relationships with the global economy, and Turkey is among our welcome economic partners. Even in the face of one of the most tough economic times, the Turkish economy is thriving, tripling over the past decade, rising in the ranks of the world's largest economies. Turkey is thriving both because of its sound domestic economic policy decisions, but because it is a member of a key global economic forum, the G20. As a strong economy, Turkey is so important to the United States and Europe as a trading partner. Our two countries have a U.S.-Turkey Business Council, as many of you know, which helps build on this bilateral relationship. Turkey is now among the top 25 trading partners for the U.S. Last year, we saw the first visit of a U.S. Secretary of Commerce to Turkey in 14 years and the first ever by a U.S. trade representative. I support these growing economic ties, which will boost the prosperity and jobs in both of our nations. All of you are helping make that difference by being here in America, by telling your stories, the beautiful story of Turkey's history, and the incredible opportunity that we have together in our relationship. Thank you for welcoming me today.
Incredible. 3 United States senators waking up early to join all of you. What an incredible sign of this friendship and the future of prosperity. And the list continues. Joining us now from the great state of Florida, where sometimes in the winter we wish we all were probably, is Congresswoman Ross Leighton.
Thank you. Stepping on my applause line, never a good thing. But thank you once again for inviting me to the annual Turkic American Convention. It's always a great pleasure for me to come and speak with so many good friends and distinguished guests. Welcome to each and every one of you. It was just over a year ago that I visited Turkey and was touched as I had the unique opportunity to meet members of my extended family and to find my roots. My maternal grandparents were born in Turkey. And that reunion, I feel the same way. And that reunion left me with an even deeper appreciation and understanding of the important relationship between both of our countries. The United States and Turkey have enjoyed a strong and vital bilateral relation for over 6 decades. Since its creation, Turkey has emerged from the ashes of the Ottoman Empire to become an advanced, democratic, secular nation that the United States is proud to call our NATO ally. And thanks to the legacy left by that grand visionary and statesman, Ataturk, in just a relatively short time, Turkey has become one of the most strategic and economically important nations in the world. It has one of the world's largest GDPs. It is among the founding members of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, and the G20. With a GDP that has tripled since 2001, Turkey's growing economy presents significant trade opportunities for U.S. businesses. And I'm glad to hear that some in your delegation will be going to Miami, Florida, to extend those trade negotiations and ties. And as Turkey is located in a strategically important point between Europe, the Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia, its trade profile is rising in both regional and global levels. And with mutual economic agreements growing between our two countries, the U.S. and Turkish ties will continue to grow and prosper, I am sure. Turkey has also been an important ally, as the senator before me pointed out, on a war against terrorism. It has greatly contributed to our international efforts in Afghanistan, and I thank you. The United States thanks you very much for that. It has suffered a number of casualties in the cause, and I express condolences to the families and the loved ones of the fallen. Thank you for that bravery. And Turkey's leadership in the region has also been showcased by its support for Syrian refugees fleeing that brutal civil war, which has left over 70,000 dead and countless displaced. According to Turkish estimates, there are hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees who have fled across the border into Turkey. And we know that that can be a great problem for any country that is assuming a refugee population, but we thank you for your humanitarian concern for those refugees. And as the situation only continues to get worse in Syria, al-Assad continues to struggle to maintain his power, and he does so by murdering innocent civilians. Well, we know that that number of refugees can only grow. We thank Turkey for taking them in. It is a true humanitarian disaster. I applaud the leaders of Turkey for having condemned the atrocities committed by the Assad regime. But I would be remiss if I did not point out some differences between our countries, because we can do that when we are with friends. I continue to be concerned about the path that Turkey is following today with respect to another regional U.S. ally, Israel. Recent statements and actions by Turkish leaders in the past week have put a strain on Turkey's relationship with Israel. I'm particularly worried about recent statements which equated Zionism to a crime against humanity, and by Turkey appointing an ambassador to a non-existent Palestinian state that has not made peace with Israel. The symbolism of that action is not lost on Israel, and it is not lost on us in the United States. The democratic Jewish state of Israel would be a natural ally for Ataturk, and it should be for modern Turkey as well. These actions clearly do more harm than good, and I say that as an ally, I say that as a friend. It can cause irreparable harm to the Turkish-Israeli relations that have heretofore been so strong and so positive, relations that are going to be stronger if these hostilities and this war of words begins to die down. I am confident that the two nations can work together to bridge the gap and once again have the strong bilateral trade and relations that they've always had. I know the United States will be more than happy to support those efforts. With your support, I'm confident that there's still so much room for growth in the already strong U.S.-Turkish relations. I look forward to working with all of you to make that happen. It's always a joy to be here with my colleagues, with the ambassador, with all of the elected members of both nations. Muchísimas gracias very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Ross Layton. And how wonderful was that she found out her grandparents were from Turkey. And we've had New York, we've had Florida, we've had Arkansas, and we'll continue with our distinguished guests. Please welcome Congressman Paul Tonko from, again, my state of New York.
Thank you, Jemu. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be invited by my good friend Veysel and others from the Turkish-American community of the capital region of New York to join with you as you gather for your convention. Let me applaud all of you who have taken a leadership role in bringing together the Turkic states and Turkish Americans, Turkic state Americans who are gathered here in Washington. And to Dr. Faruk Taban, thank you for your leadership with the Turkic American Alliance. I understand we're both mechanical engineers. Let's hear it for those engineers. I know that the Turkic states produce a lot of technology and science and engineering-based professions, and we're made richer because of that. Look, on the outset, I just want to share with you my sentiments that our heritage is incredibly valuable. It defines us, it nurtures us, and it sustains us. And I believe our heritage is a gift, and that gift has its greatest value when it's exchanged. And so I thank those of the Turkic states who are now living in America. Thank you for sharing your heritage so well in that quilt work of America. We are more valuable. Our mosaic has grown more rich because of your entry into the beautiful story of the United States of America. You have a rich tradition in your homeland. Obviously, you thirst for freedom. You are a beacon of hope for freedom-loving nations, and I respect and appreciate and value that. I do, as a newly appointed member of Energy and Commerce, want to tell you how excited I am about the agenda that you have developed here that associates itself with trade, with energy, with economic development. I think there are such great opportunities for the Turkic states and the American scene here, the United States, to work in tandem, to work in partnership. Obviously, for trade, your growing involvement across the map of the globe, your greater connection with the United States reduces your vulnerability of a high dependency on the Eurozone. And as you grow that partnership with the United States, I believe both areas of the world prosper. And so I want to be an agent working with you for the sorts of reforms that enable us to bolster that activity. As has been said so many times by my colleagues in Congress this morning, you have witnessed the rise of Turkey as a major economy in the world scene, having nearly tripled over the last decade in measurement of GDP per capita. That's an impressive statement. You have embraced great ideals. The leadership of many in this room who lead the Turkic states is to be applauded. In the area of energy, you are situated in a very unique strategic area in the world. You are a corridor through which a lot of discussion and negotiations will happen. As a former energy chair in the New York State Assembly and now a member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, I want to work on those partnerships that allow us to advance the improvements and the innovation that is coming upon the scene. I know that you're focused on a lot of addition of renewable power in your schematic, in your grid of energy that supplies the nation. And we're all benefited by the intellectual power, the intellectual capacity that you have grown amongst your people that can take us to higher ground. So to all assembled here, I look forward to a wonderful, productive relationship. And I know that Veysel and others at the Turkish Community Center, the Cultural Center in Capital Region, New York, are sharing the message abundantly well and expressing through their own behavior the vibrancy of the Turkic states and their richness of heritage, culture, and tradition. God bless you. Stay strong. Enjoy your convention. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Tonka. Have y'all visited North Carolina? It is a beautiful, beautiful state. And I was just talking to our congressman here with us from North Carolina about Asheville, which is one of my favorite cities in his state. So please join me in welcoming Congressman Mark Meadows from the great state of North Carolina.
Good morning, and thank you, and welcome to our nation's capital. It is an honor to be here with you, and a few weeks back, His Excellency the Ambassador of Turkey entertained my wife and I, and just was such a gracious host, and the hospitality was incredible. And so it is my hope for you that as you are here in our nation's capital, that you will experience some of that same hospitality. And if there is anything that we can do, thank you, Mr. Ambassador, and thank you so much for having me here this morning. I am here as a congressman representing North Carolina, which already has a great relationship with Turkey. As a trading partner and truly as the relationships between our countries grow, we see that there will be great economic prosperity on behalf of both of our nations, and not just Turkey, but all of Central Asia. And so as I see that, I stand here today to say that I look forward to working with you. Now, I'm a congressman from North Carolina, but really what I am is a businessman. I have a strong energy background. I have developed a number of companies, some 6 or 7 companies over my 53 years of existence. And I know what it takes to make sure that prosperity grows, not only for businesses, but for the people in our countries and in our regions. And today, I am very hopeful. What we have today, obviously, is we have members of government in the private sector. We have members of the government from the opposition party. We have members from the ruling party. We have truly a bipartisan support to make sure that our economic development goes forward. You are to be applauded for that, because that is rare, it is difficult to achieve, but it also will ultimately end up in making sure that our nations are more prosperous as we continue those relationships. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. But the other thing that I would like to say is this. We are faced with economic prosperity that grows in dimensions. We will get to a plateau, and there are times when we get to that plateau that we say, well, we've been successful. It is what we do at those particular times where we've been successful and that we get ready to take it to the next step that is the critical part of prosperity. And what I look forward to doing is working with you as we take it to the next step to make sure that not only we have a prosperous nation today, but that we have a prosperous economy that expands our horizons and makes sure that what happens is, as we look back, we can say those were great times many years ago, but these are excellent times today. So as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee on the subcommittee of the Middle East, I look forward to working with you. If there's anything that I can do or my office can do to make your stay more enjoyable here in our nation's capital, we would welcome the opportunity. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you, Congressman Pryor. We've heard just incredible remarks already, and none of this would be possible. This gathering wouldn't be possible without the help of many of the supporters who made this possible. So I would like to welcome one of just the amazing sponsors that supported the Turkic-American Alliance. Please join me in welcoming Attila Kurama, the CEO of Ildes Holdings.
Hi, good morning. I'm going to address you on behalf of one of the sponsors, and please don't think that that's a paid advertising, so I'm going to cut it as short as possible. Now, last year, the founder of Ülker and Yıldız Group, Mr. Sabri Ülker, he passed away. He died at 92. He was 92 years old. Mr. Ülker was born in Crimea in the year 1920, and his family decided to migrate to Turkey in 1929 after the communist revolution in Russia. Turkey, as you know, we had a great tradition following the Ottoman Empire, always welcoming people from the neighboring countries. It happened from Crimea, the Caucasus, Balkans, Iraq, and most recently in Syria. And as a part of this policy, when Mr. Ülker decided to migrate, they, of course, naturally chose his country, Turkey, and Istanbul was the first choice. When the ship arrived to Istanbul, since everything that they left behind, they didn't have any worldly beings. They had very little except what they had as the food to survive during the voyage. So his relatives in Istanbul, they had to send some people to rescue them with little money so they onboarded the ship and they could reach to Istanbul. Once in Istanbul, Mr. Ülker studied in government boarding school, and in his university years, he was working at a biscuit factory. And immediately after his graduation in 1944, and it was towards the end of the Second World War, he decided to set up Ülker Biscuit Company. It was a very, very small bakery. It's producing only 200 kilos of biscuits every day. But the interesting thing, when he bought this thing with some borrowed money and that's the year that Turkey declared war to Germany. And he heard the news that from the public announcements, Turkey declared war to Germany. He has just bought a new company with borrowed money and he was not very sure what he did. And he said that, okay, whatever comes from God, that's what we bear. And what it turned out from that humble beginning, a huge company today with almost $11 billion of turnover doing business all around the world. Another interesting thing about the history in 1950s, and when the venture was still at its early days, Turkey joined with US in the Korean War. And that was a big event. You know, in Turkey at that time, the only mass media was radio, and even the radio, not every house there was a radio. In the villages, people, they gather around in a public place in the radio and they listen to 7 o'clock news. And the most, people they cared about was what about the war news? And Mr. Sabri Ülker did something very ingenious at that time. He was the first to start advertising with a very famous jingle of biscuits saying that just before 5 minutes before 7 o'clock, 7 p.m., he started to advertise saying that, "Daddy, please bring Ülker biscuits," with a very famous jingle. And after 6 decades, everybody from my generation still remembers this jingle, saying that, "Daddy, please bring biscuit," and that's so famous. Ülker grew up as a substantial company and became 60% of the consumer goods business. And in the year 2000, Murat Ülker, he became the chairman. Mr. Sabri Ülker, he retired. And Mr. Murat Ülker, he changed the direction of the business to more international at the helm of the ship. We became more international. We started to invest in different companies. But that was a bit against the will of Mr. Sabri Ülker because he was a bit afraid. He always wanted to be at the safe, survived a number of wars and the difficult zones and that. He wanted to be safe in Turkey. But Mr. Murat Ülker, he decided to invest more internationally. And we now invest in more than 10 countries. But the jewel of his investment, it happened in the US. In 2007, we bought Godiva chocolatier in Turkey. At that time, that was the largest investment by a Turkish company of 850 million. Murat Ülker was a bit hesitant how to pass this message to Sabri Ülker because his health at that time was quite fragile and he didn't know how he would respond to this. So a bit shy, he approached him and he said that, "Dad, you know what we did? We bought this largest premium chocolate company in US and we spent 850 million. Well, his father looked at him and said that, "I knew that you would do something like that one day." But anyway, that was a great story and that was great to be here and great to be invited. Thank you for listening and good day.
Sponsors, they make it happen. We have another distinguished guest. I attend these conferences a lot, and I have to tell you, the list of distinguished guests that have joined y'all this morning is quite impressive. But again, I think it's because of all of the distinguished guests in the audience. Please join me in welcoming Mustafa Akaya, the mayor of the city of Antalya.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants of the Turkic American Association, it's a pleasure for me to share this wonderful breakfast with you. I have brought here the soft Mediterranean weather and friendly, peaceful behavior from the Mediterranean. In the recent 4 years, I had been the mayor of Antalya, a city in the southern western coastline of Turkey. Before, I was a professor of general surgery, having some of my training from Professor Thomas Starzl of Pittsburgh, USA. I had also been the president of Akdeniz University for 4 years and head of the Turkish inter-universities body representing 116 universities in that time. The region of Antalya is also called Turkish Riviera. The population of the centrum is 1 million and province about 2 million. What makes Antalya very special is it is almost at the cross-sectional area of 3 continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa. In a flight time of 4 hours, it is reachable for about 1/3 of the world's population. Our written history goes back to 200 BC, but the human heritage goes back to Paleolithic age. Antalya hosted about 137 city-states, most of them belonging to Lycia, Pamphylia, and Pisidia of antique civilizations. The first representative democracy started in Patara of Lycia in the ancient times. Then comes the Hellenes, Byzantine, and the East Rome, Seljuk and Ottoman periods. The area is like an open museum, with also gorgeous mountains, waterfalls, enormous caves, and blue flag beaches. We attract about 11 million foreign tourists annually from all over the world. Statistically, it has been the 4th most frequently visited destination in the world. First 3 are New York, London, and Paris. Antalya is a multinational, multicultural city. Foreign immigration and settlement is more than 40,000. Also, inner immigration involves more than 50% of the population. Because of this reason, our municipality's main effort is cultural activities, festivals including everybody. We are trying to create a city of thinking together, talking together, and enjoying together. After this very short information, I would like to invite you all to visit our region sometime in the future. Thank you for your attention and have a nice day.
I'm happy to be invited to visit Turkey at any time. You can reach me at the front desk. And I know you have a very, very incredible program ahead of you for today. We want to make sure that we memorialize this important breakfast and all of the wonderful guests we've had. I'm going to call a number of people up to the stage. We want to get an incredible family picture so we can memorialize this. Please join me up on the stage, the congressmen and women who were here, the senators, members of parliament. And as I start calling you, please start joining. We're going to get through this picture quickly. Any members of parliament that are in the audience, any of the ambassadors that are here. Ambassadors, please come up, and we'll just line up here on the stage for a family picture. Federation presidents, the federation's presidents who have made this happen, continue to walk up to the stage. All of our incredible sponsors, without their resources and support, this would not have been possible. And the Tuscan partners, please also come up for this important picture. I think it was the mayor of Istanbul who said, It's not about shared language, it's about shared feelings. And we certainly on this stage share many feelings and the effort to continue friendship and prosperity. We're going to get through this picture very quickly and then on to an incredible day of panels. Thank you for joining us.
Geriye alsak geriye yok şey değil altı yapıştırmış. Yapışık.